the bustling city of Lagos, Nigeria, where the streets hummed with the sounds of car horns, market vendors, and Afro beats playing from street corners, there lived a girl who was the center of attention wherever she went, Nneoma. Nneoma was not just beautiful. She was breathtaking. Her caramel skin glowed under the Lagos sun. Her long, curly hair cascaded down her back, and her piercing brown eyes held a spark of mischief. But it wasn't just her looks that made heads turn. It was the way she carried herself. Every step she took was deliberate, confident, and full of Shakara. People whispered her name as she passed, some in admiration, others in frustration. See that girl? That's Nneoma, the Shakara Queen. If you like her, forget that one. She go play with your heart and leave you crying. Nneoma loved the attention. She thrived on it. Men would buy her expensive gifts, send her messages begging for her time, and do everything to impress her, but Nneoma was never impressed. She played hard to get, leading them on, only to discard them when she got bored. Her friends, Amaka and Basola, warned her, "Nneoma, this year Shakara is too much. One day you go jam person, we go teach you lesson. Please, spare me the lecture," she would laugh. "I'm just enjoying my life. I beg, let me have fun." And fun she had, until she met Tunde. Tunde was different from the others. He was charming, but not pushy. He was kind, but not naive. He didn't shower Nneoma with extravagant gifts or desperate compliments. Instead, he challenged her. "You think you're the only one who can play games?" He had once told her with a smirk. "Two can play." For the first time, Nneoma found herself intrigued. She flirted with him, expecting him to fall head over heels, but he remained unfazed. She pushed him away, thinking he would beg, but he didn't. Instead, he made her work for his attention. It was thrilling. Before she knew it, she had fallen for him. But just when things started getting serious, the fear crept in. What if I lose myself, she wondered. So she did what she did best. She ran. "I need space," she told Tunde. He was hurt, but he wasn't a fool. "Nneoma," he said, shaking his head, "one day you'll realize that real love isn't a game." Nneoma rolled her eyes. "Please, beg, I'm not ready for all this serious relationship wahala." And so, she walked away. But fate wasn't done with her yet. A few weeks later, Nneoma found herself at a high-profile party in Victoria Island. The event was buzzing with Lagos's elite, musicians, actors, wealthy businessmen, and socialites. That was where she met Femi. Femi was the ultimate bad boy, tall, dark, and strikingly handsome. He had a reputation for leaving women heartbroken. He was wealthy, mysterious, and, most importantly, unpredictable. Nneoma was instantly intrigued. "You're playing a dangerous game, beautiful," Femi whispered in her ear as they danced under the neon lights. "I like danger," Nneoma replied, her eyes flashing with excitement. They spent the entire night together, talking, laughing, flirting. But unlike the other men, Femi didn't seem desperate to impress her. He was in control, and for the first time she felt like the one being chased. It was intoxicating. And then, in a moment of weakness, she made a mistake. A mistake that would change her life forever. Weeks later, Nneoma's world came crashing down. She was pregnant. At first, she refused to believe it. "No, it's impossible. It can't be me." She took one pregnancy test, then another, and another, all positive. Panic set in. She tried to reach out to Femi, hoping for support, but his response was cold. "That's your problem, not mine. I don't have time for this." He blocked her. Nneoma felt the walls closing in on her. Her parents were devastated. "How could you disgrace us like this?" her father thundered. Her mother wept. Her friends, who once envied her, began to distance themselves. She had to drop out of school. Her dreams of becoming a lawyer? Gone. The Shakara was over. Reality had hit her like a speeding car, and she was completely unprepared. With nowhere else to turn, Nneoma found herself in her small, dimly lit bedroom, staring at her reflection in the mirror. Gone was the confident, carefree girl who once ruled the streets of Lagos. In her place was a young woman, scared, lost, and uncertain of the future. What do I do now? She whispered to herself. But then she felt it, a small flutter in her stomach. Her baby. That tiny movement reminded her that life wasn't over. Yes, she had made mistakes. Yes, she had lost her way. But she was still Nneoma. She was still strong. She wiped her tears and made a decision. I will rise again. Nneoma took small steps. She got a job, even though it was tiring. She saved money. She reached out to old mentors who helped her enroll in night classes, and she started rebuilding her life piece by piece. It wasn't easy. Some nights, she cried herself to sleep. Some days she doubted herself. But through it all, she refused to give up. And when her baby was finally born, she held him in her arms and made a promise. I will be the mother you deserve. I will show you that mistakes do not define us. How we rise after them does. Moral lesson of the story. Nneoma's story teaches us about choices, consequences, and growth. 1. Superficiality is temporary. The thrill of attention and validation fades, but the impact of our actions lasts. 2. Responsibility matters. Every action has consequences. We must think before we act. 3. Life gives second chances. No matter how far we fall, we can always rise again. In the end, Shakara may bring momentary excitement, but true fulfillment comes from growth, love, and responsibility. And that was the greatest lesson Nneoma ever learned.